Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We have bellied up today. It is another one of those opportunities to do that one thing that always breaks my equipment, always gets my stuff glitching. At some point, I'm going to lose my internet, and I promise you on all that is holy that it's not me. So hopefully you've got your sage, you've got your crosses, you've got your holy water, whatever it is that you need, your rosary and your beads, belling up to the bar with us. And we got to thank our big Nate here. He's brought in some great guests for us. We've already got some folks popping up and joining in, but from Paranormal in the Funhouse. And I promise you, when I first heard it, I thought it was Paranormal Funhouse, which sounds like a great 90s heavy metal band. But we've got straight from my homehood of Maryland, Paranormal in the Funhouse, Brandon and Staci. You know what? I normally do this, and I forgot to do this. Is it Crotti or Crotti?
Oh, it's Crotti. Well, you said it first, right? You said it right
you said
first.
it right.
A lot of people don't get it right, so I just go with it. It looks like it says Crotti, but it's Crotti. It's Italian last
I said it
name.
right the first time.
I was like, what was that? A spirit box for a second? In the headphones.
I had your buddy Lisa on with her 60 dolls and lights or shit like that. I'm like, can you like? I told her, I was like, so you've got a teenage daughter that is susceptible, like she picks up on this energy, and you've got 60 of these things in your house. Like why?
She's got a lot, man.
She brought quite a bit for a visit when she came down to see us here in Maryland, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Reed just loved it, I bet.
Oh yeah.
So let's get this house clean and done so we can go ahead and get into this. We've actually got a few different things that are going on, and we'll mention the one a few times as everybody kind of jumps on and finds us and realizes that the show's going here. First and foremost, as always, we got the big board over me. You like that, don't you there, Brandon? You see what's on that?
I see it. I wasn't going to say anything. Steelers fan, but it could be worse. It could be Bengals.
He's a Steelers fan. Why wouldn't you have told me?
He's confused.
He's confused. On my show, I try to keep.
So, my whole family is from Pittsburgh, so but I live in Maryland.
Nate, you try to get them off the show.
I'm trying to help him change that.
Hey, here's one thing before you start. She was a New England fan.
Are we really gonna throw me under the bus?
After 10 years, she's still a fan.
The New England Brady's, they were great. They were great. The New England.
Stop it.
Oh my God. So, as always, the big board over my right shoulder for sticker and a cause. If you've got something that you're supporting, whether you've got your own show, your own podcast, I don't care if it's a club, your pool league, whatever it is, whatever you got going on, reach out to us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, even our email. Everything is the Above the Bar podcast. Reach out. Let us know what you got going on. I'll tell you what the address is then. Mail me out the sticker and you'll get a free ad. That is actually, and I forgot the sticker. I couldn't find it in my truck, but for today, we actually have, and you can find them on Instagram. It's called Manila, not vanilla, but Manila _extract. I'm going to jack up. Nate knows I can't spell. Him and I definitely have Maryland educations. There's no spelling going on in this crew. If you ask any one of us to spell
That's why I do graphics.
that is absolutely your fault. Manila extract is MAINELLA _extract. Manila extract. They hooked me up with this shirt today. Instead of only fans, it says only fades for like faded haircuts. Only fades. Love it. He's got a bunch of other ones that are coming out. So check him out on Instagram. He will mail those out to you. He just showed me a design today. I'll go ahead and dime out the design. It looks like ET, the ET over the moon.
Oh, that's cool.
But instead of it being ET going over the moon, it's a guy doing a Superman off the back of the bike.
Wow, that's really cool.
Badass stuff like that. So make sure you're checking out Manila Extract. Phenomenal guy. Great t-shirts, and they're actually good quality t-shirts. He spent the time to figure out the type of t-shirt. So make sure you're checking them out. Always a pleasure. And always we've got Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, our big sponsor here. Budget Blinds of East Greenbush is locally owned, veteran-owned business and operated. Get my tongue tied around my eye teeth. Can't see what I'm saying here. Window covering franchise that offers high-quality custom blinds, shades, shutters, and drapes at affordable prices. Their knowledgeable and experienced team is dedicated to providing excellent customer service and helping you find the perfect window treatments to fit your style and budget. Stay up to date with the latest products, promotions, and designs tips by following their Facebook fan page. And if you tell them, hey, you're there to belly up to the bar to check out some new blinds, they are going to give you a 15% discount off of that entire order. So you can't beat that. Custom blinds in your home, a discount. Let them know that you're there to belly up to the bar. That's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush. Last but not least, get back over to my StreamYard. I was on a different page there. But last but not least, Nate brought this up. What's up there, Shay Robinson? Appreciate you popping in. Nate brought this up last week, and we're going to bring this up a couple of times. We've got a couple of people watching right now. I have never.
I think I know who that is. Shay, I recognize the name. How you doing?
And we got, it looks like Amanda Vendetti watching also. I have never watched Yellowstone, and Nate talked about it last week. Whole weird thing where I guess Yellowstone's on Peacock, but it's a Paramount show. I don't understand it. But we did start watching 1883, and I'm loving every bit of that one, which is somehow associated going down the line.
They're all associated. There's one that's 1883. There's Yellowstone. There's one coming out that's 1923.
1920.
Yeah,
that's already out.
Yeah, all that
They're all prequels.
So we're starting with 1883, but we're headed to Yellowstone. And that being said, they're headed back to the ranch to dive into the first 8 episodes of Yellowstone season 5. We got a great giveaway going on here. First 8 episodes of season 5, along with never before seen content that includes exclusive interviews with the cast and crew. In these,
I need that.
They explore the fan favorite relationship. You guys will have to tell me about who Rip and Beth and Casey and Monica, and an in-depth look at the iconic music of Yellowstone, the process of bringing Yellowstone world to life, and more. It's on Blu-ray and DVD. So that being said, for the first 5 people that go ahead and DM the Above the Bar podcast, shut your whole face, Nathan. The first 5 people that send me that message, I'm going to go ahead. You got to send me your name, your real name, and an address. And I'm going to go ahead and let the folks at Paramount know to send out each one of you a copy DVD of season 5 of Yellowstone that you can watch. It's not going to cost you anything. There's no shipping and handling. I don't need your firstborn. You know what was so great about this? And they do know you. They said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Doing pretty good.
What was wild about it is I thought, how great is talking about Yellowstone in 1883 and 1923, and we're going to talk about paranormal. Yes, in Maryland, we weren't in the West and all that, but guess what? The War of 1812 happened right there, and a lot of other shit.
A lot of wars, believe it or not, if you go back in history, have a lot to do with the Maryland. A lot.
That Chesapeake Bay region. So look, again, folks, send me out your information. I will get you that free copy sent out to you. All I'm going to be looking for, and I got my phone next to me, it'll ding me when I got it. Just first name, last name, and an email or a physical address. I'll pass it out to the Paramount people, and they will send you out a copy. But I thought that would be fitting because here's the deal. I already got your next paranormal spot for you. I've already got it figured.
All right.
What's that?
Todd's Farm.
Already talking to him.
You need to go to Todd. Do you know where? So you guys are where in Maryland?
Annapolis.
Annapolis, yeah. definitely, the most close to downtown Annapolis, basically, the hot spot for history and paranormal, not far
They're
from
supposed to
Baltimore
call
as
me
well.
back next week.
So you're going to laugh at me. I grew up in Dundalk.
Mm-hmm.
My mom has lived in Maryland since she was 13.
Mm-hmm.
We both went to Annapolis for the first time maybe about a year ago.
Oh,
wow. I tried to explain to people, like, when you live in Maryland, crossing like bridges and rivers and we just don't do it. We're like, why do I need to go?
We just stay in our spot.
Yeah.
Why do I need to go to Annapolis? What's in Annapolis for me? I'm not sailing no boats. I don't need that bullshit. And that's our mindset. Just like Dundalk, I'm not messing with them idiots up there in Dundalk. I'm not going up there.
You have the Dundalk accent, they call it. Like I was gonna ask somewhere in Baltimore. You had that thick accent.
Or you can just say Maryland accent, basically.
That too.
Well,
we all have it.
Well, here's how you can really tell if somebody's. I learned this recently, and it was such an eye opener to me. You want to know if somebody's really from Maryland? Ask them where they went to school at. Where'd you go to school at,
Me?
Yeah.
South River.
Okay. Stacy, where'd you go to school at?
Annapolis Senior.
Nate, where'd you go to school at?
Liberty High, Carroll County.
You notice not one of us, even if you did or didn't, never mentioned a single college.
Nope, you are correct.
That's funny. I'm going to say that to people.
You want to know if somebody's really from Maryland or Baltimore? Ask them. I've got a bachelor's degree. If somebody asked me where I went to school, I'm going to say EVT. Or because that tells you where I grew up at. That's where you. Oh, Carroll. All right. So Annapolis. Okay. So you're from Annapolis. That's what we do.
That's right. Yeah. That's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Denise, that's gonna be a person we talk about. That's a person that was our nominated for best horror film in season 2. That's Denise that owned Lucy.
Yeah, she owned Lucy the doll.
Yeah, welcome.
Doll thing. Okay, so but back to farm. You have to check. So Todd's farm is in Sparrows Point, Edgemere area.
Okay,
and it's at the end of this road. The house is still sitting there. It was involved in the War of 1812. All kinds of stuff going on there. Todd's farm is like when we were
renovating right now too.
Todd's farm was like one of those places when we were kids. Like, it was like, you gonna go in the house? Man, I ain't going in that house. Come on, don't be a bitch. Go in the house.
I feel like I heard of it or seen it online.
I think I have two now.
I know Nathan mentioned it, but before that, I feel like I may have heard of it in the past.
It's funny. We have something similar to that down here. It's actually called Lydia's Rest. It's down in Annapolis. It has to do with the wars and all the the seamen and all of them coming through, like with the wars and stuff. And it was once a hospital, a hot spot for all that here, but. I'm attempting to try and make progress on working with it, but the people that bought the property aren't
feeling it.
Yeah.
So and we're gonna get into all this stuff. I always tell people, how surprised some people are when you tell them, like, hey, did you know Black Aggie started in Maryland? That's a Maryland thing, Black Aggie, and people are like, what?
That was one of our stories in the beginning of our show.
I wanted to get into because I saw some of these things. So we kind of touched on it before the show, and I wish I could record and some of you folks could hear some of the conversation before the show and after. But so tell me, Stacy and Brandon, how did you get into paranormal investigation? And were you already together when you got into it, or was it that got you together? Tell me about that dynamic.
I got into it way before I met her. I was interested in it because I grew up in a house that we always been trying to get back to that nobody owns in Pasadena, Maryland. I grew up in a household that was basically a murder scene. I don't know. I guess the wife was killed there. I won't go deep in detail because I don't know all about it, but there's a dark past there. So with the hauntings I had as a kid growing up, thinking it was just anxiety and parents weren't telling me anything, just hiding it from me. That always stuck with me growing up, and I was skeptical. I was actually originally, a lot of people know, I was an atheist, and then I started having faith and believing in more things as I got older. But really, it started 3 years ago. In a few days, 3 years ago, after my brother passed away, death always changes things in life and does weird things. So when I had experiences with my brother and weird activity, I just started doing some paranormal stuff on Microsoft, and I was streaming. And then when he died, I just went full blown into it. So she got into it because we were together.
Because we were together pretty much, and I've always been like a believer. I've never been a skeptic. I've never, I've always watched the shows. Did I ever think one day, hey, I'm going to be one of those people? No, I did not. But it's something that, he enjoyed, and then I enjoyed doing it. So it's just something that we had in common.
I thought it was a gig, a passion that I just enjoyed, that I can start doing as a live stream. But really, at the end of the day, it was brother's death and the house I grew up in that was just traumatic. It was insane, the stuff that I experienced. Even Dave Strader from Holzer Files spoke about that place, and if I can get in there, I would. So really, we've been together for 10 years, but the 3 years of filming and doing this, we've been doing it the same amount of time. I think, I've done a little bit of ghost hunts here and there growing up with my brother, my oldest, that lives in Georgia, but it was nothing like this, nothing serious as this. So yeah, it took a couple things in life to really change.
They do say things that happen in your life can change the path for which you're living. So I think that's kind of where we are right now.
I think also the skeptic part of me also wanted to see, is this BS? And is it a good thing I have faith now? What I believe in, is it real? Can I explain what I believe in? Can I also give faith to other people? If I can give faith to other people and myself, I'm gonna keep doing it, whether I have a career out of it or not. So that was a big part of it too.
I love that you went from one extreme to the other, and you found that faith and you found that passion there. Now, here's a question though. So you talked a little bit about, we tried, like, define for me, down in Georgia. Yeah. Me and my brother, we tried a little bit. Like, how do you try? Is that like standing in the house and be like, "Did you see that?"
Before he was in Georgia, my brother, he was always intrigued in it. I think for a couple years after I got with her, I was just messing around with him,
like buying a piece of equipment here and there, and just kind of just going to different places, and just nothing
he
serious.
Would find places, like there was one in Eastport down here with this whole story of a house that somebody was murdered in, abandoned, or mental institutions, or whatever. We did a few of those things, and just to go and see if anything happens, not really with equipment. It was just to experience what it would be like. So he was always intrigued into it, watching UFO things, like anything about UFOs or aliens and that type of stuff. And I was more into ghost adventures and all that around that time. So we would just mess around. So that, I still had a thing for it, but I was curious, but I never thought I would do what I do now. But back then, I still probably would say I wasn't a full believer in the paranormal field. But it's mainly, I don't know, I guess Brian's death, my brother that passed away, it really triggered something, not only mentally, but when I also had these experiences. Basically, when he died, we had a lot of weird, unexplained things happening that I could tell was a message from him.
Me out there, because you've said that a couple of times. These weird things have happened to me. These things have happened to me.
Yeah.
I know Nate. That's probably about the weirdest thing that's happened to me. I'd smile, Nate. If it wasn't for me, you'd have no look. Smile, Nate. Don't do it. Don't start.
I see Henny and Denise and Jason, Shaggy, Chrissy. What's up?
Chrissy's on here. Shay, Jason popped on. Jason sent me a message. He's like, I can't find the link. Like, send that to him. But so, because I want to get into how you brought Nate in, and how you've brought some of the people, like we've had Jason on as your cameraman, how you've brought these people. But I'm curious, when you say things happen, we all have experiences. I truly believe this, that some people just write off as, oh, it was a fluke, or I didn't see what I think I saw. Then there's other ones of us where we go, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck.
Yeah.
So for you, where was it that you started saying, this isn't something to blow off? Something's going on here.
It was when we were living at the apartments. What apartments is it in Annapolis area?
It was down here.
Yeah, so it was some apartment complex we were living at when I found out he died. I didn't think anything of the paranormal or something was going to happen, but it wasn't too long after he passed away. It's not like I was looking for things, but I noticed like we were in the bed. We would start getting these scents like that I never smelled before. Since I was around Brian, stuff that he would wear, his cologne. And I kept smelling it. And I don't wear cologne. She don't wear nothing because I have asthma terribly. So I that's one thing I picked up.
It was his scent. Like we know what he wears, and it was his smell. So it was not
most
like
definitely was. But then we both started feeling like physical things where we felt like we were being touched, pushed on.
When he passed away, he was a big music person. He played the guitar. He loved any and every type of music you could imagine. We were just goofing around one night and we were just having a conversation, talking to each other, and then, we have what they call an EVP recorder, and it's basically just a voice recorder. You could pretty much buy anywhere. Right. So we were just goofing around and we were like, hey, if you're around, let us know you're around, B. And as soon as Brandon had said that, it sounded like the strum of a guitar came across the EVP recorder. And I was like, how there's no way.
That was kind of like testing it because the feelings I was getting, the sense I was getting, plus we saw a white mist not soon after he died in the house, which was really unexplainable and weird. And that's not when I started documenting anything, but after that happened, I started just recording on my phone in my room, and I kept seeing these blue balls of lights around me, blue light anomalies. It was kind of manifesting it, and it was coming and going, and it just kept happening.
But it was funny because it would only happen when something was going on, like something that was if he was worried or stressed about something.
Your personal energy was up.
Yeah. And that's when I think Brian would come in and kind of give him those little signals of, hey, it's going to be okay. I'm here. I'm your older brother.
And then I started getting equipment before filming, and I even testing it out where he was actually speaking directly with like on point responses. I could hear his own voice and the thin ear, not just with equipment. It died down after a while, and then boom, there you go. So just those little things, I guess you could say, were big things for me, but and they were weird, man, and it was freaky a little bit at first, but then I got used to it.
So okay. First off, I'd be damn, I'd have already moved. Just so so as all this is going on, and you talk about the equipment, Nate and I talked about this recently, and Nate might be able to speak. It's a couple nickels to start picking this stuff up. It's not.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's not cheap stuff.
Nope.
It's not.
And the kind of, Nate said he's going to start a feet only page. Just kind of put his toes out there.
Yeah, right.
Finder action, but it's one of those kind of things that you're talking about having the equipment, having these things, and people showing up. At any point, though, did you stop and think, and we've all seen these movies where they're like, I think it's my dad talking to me, and it's like this evil spirit thing going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I did. At first, I questioned that. I know where you're getting at. At first, I absolutely questioned that because I'm like, could it be something else, just knowing and feeding off of the vulnerabilities of what's going on? Like, could it be that? And then it was always, and it was funny because I myself personally was like, any sign, give me any sign like that. When this stuff happens, there's one thing that will happen afterwards that I will know for sure. And what's funny is the one thing that I didn't ask for this per se, but for some reason my thought process went to the color red when this happened. So every time we would have these little things happen with his brother, a red bird would show up out of nowhere out to our window. It would be outside waiting for us by our car when we walked outside.
The next morning after he died, and then it
just kept happening. Like every time something, like the night before something would happen, and the next morning we would see this red bird. And the only reason that I know it was this one particular red bird is because the red bird had a spot on it.
Yeah.
And none of the other birds had this little spot right here on on the chest, on the breast part.
That was.
And that's why I was like, okay.
You have a tattoo on his wing that said Brian. Then you were like, that's him. I know it's him.
Yeah,
right.
It was strange, and I didn't even know at the time that Redbirds, Cardinals.
Yeah, I had no idea either. We had to look that up. Yeah, we didn't know because we were like, why do we keep seeing this red bird? And this is one particular red bird. Like months after
I don't think in Maryland, out of my whole life, I didn't see too many Cardinals in general. So
I think so.
No, he. That's why I say he, because he pops out of nowhere on occasions, and he still does.
A few times,
will still do that.
But it's died down completely. I can't even get a hold of him anymore, and I believe he is crossed over after 3 years. So yeah, he's gone. Yeah. He's more with my father with his tough situation going on, and he's got to be around him more. But
then you were talking to him.
Say what?
That New Year's event you were talking to him, weren't you?
New Year's event you were talking to him?
New I don't know. What was I doing? I can't remember. I do too much ghost hunting.
That live you had?
Oh, I guess you did a live.
I don't remember.
Hey, I have a question for you. So now, how did you connect with Nate and
okay?
Like I said, Jason, I love Jason. You know, as your cameraman, how have you kind of built these people that have become the Paranormal in the Funhouse? And I'm going to throw this out real quick, folks. If you're finding us through Brandon and Staci, they're on Paraflix. They were nominated for Best Ghost Hunters in 2020. Make sure you're checking out Paraflix. And something I forgot to mention, now that we got some more people on, they've got a thing where if you put Funhouse 10 into the code for Paraflix, you're going to get a 10% discount off of your order.
Yeah. So it's basically cheaper than a Happy Meal. It's only like $3.
Yeah, it's cheaper than a Happy Meal.
and you can watch all these things, and you've got all that stuff. Our boy Patrick from Redgate, his film is on there also. You can stuff on there. So it's an opportunity, and I'm gonna throw this out real quick so that we have more people. Folks, if you're just also joining, you didn't catch the beginning, we're giving away 5 copies of the 5th season of Yellowstone. All you got to do is go on to Facebook, slide into my DMs, and let me know what your name and your address is, and we're going to mail you out a free copy. But tell me, Brandon, how did you connect all these people? Because really, they're all different walks of life. They're different groups, different people. How did you connect them all?
First of all, the Funhouse name came from professional gaming. I was a Microsoft partner with Microsoft. In 6 months, I partnered. You all probably know who Ninja is, even if you're not a gamer. So I actually beat his record to be partnered before he ever did in that short amount of time. So around that time, I just came up with the theme Funhouse. So we had all that. When I left, I took that brand. When I got into the paranormal field, and I was like, now I'm a Facebook partner. I'm going to start doing these live ghost hunts and webisodes. So we're going to go with Paranormal in the Funhouse. I've met a lot of people. I went through a lot of people, different mediums. Some were bull BS. Some were legit.
You have a lot of those.
We've had previous people that were on our show that come and go. It just didn't work out. For Kareem, which we nicknamed Scooby now, he's been my best friend my entire life. We got him involved into it. He was an equipment tech, cameraman, stayed with us over the years. But the people that are here now, for example, Jason, which everybody calls him Shaggy, he was apparently knew most of my family, and I found out, like, I actually remember you when I was younger. You knew my family from Cape St. Clair. But we didn't know that till after I got him on as a guest. After I got him on as mid-season 2 guest, he was a permanent camera guy for us. So he stuck around, never left. And then Jason ended up mentioning Nathan. This wasn't that long ago. So Nathan was a guest on the show for an episode that was supposed to come out. Don't have a date yet for this mansion. And I just met Nathan through Jason, and Nathan was like, I'm down. I'm interested in this stuff. I'm going to help you on the side get spots so you have less stress. And now he's going to be equipment tech. Then there was a woman named Elizabeth, the most legit medium I met, that's still off and on the show, named Elizabeth, former military, and now she's retired. So we'll see if she gets back on this new season. But that's kind of the cast right now. We had so many people in the past. There's too many names. I won't mention some of them for reasons, but I took the Funhouse brand from gaming, and I just started meeting these people. But somehow these people I met were in my life already that I didn't know about. So that's and they're from Maryland, and it was strange. A lot of people that weren't from Maryland didn't work out. We had a dude from PA. Nah, it didn't work out. We had a dude that came from Manchester to move to Maryland. And it didn't work out. We had a lady from, was it Carolina? North Carolina. Didn't work out. So all of Marylanders worked out, and this misfit bunch of Funhouse folks here. And we got two good cameramen that could be scared shitless. Excuse my language. Scared to death all the time. That put them through hell, and they're still here. Nathan, he's only getting a taste of it. He hasn't got all of it yet, so he'd be ready.
Coming.
But then me and her, we've been married for a while now, been together for 10 years. So when I started this show, before I even knew it was going to be an actual career on TV, she just became co-investigator. She started filming, but then co-investigator, and now she has her own contract for the show. So it all worked out, and the people that are on the show now are the right people. Unless they ever want to walk, at the end of the day, they're not allowed to because I'm making them.
Because we need them.
Keep making them, and I need them. They'll even if we bump heads and we work together too much, or we don't get along one day, we all find a way to still be family and best friends. At the end of the day, it's not even about just what we do. When we get into filming, yeah, it's a job and we take it seriously. But at the end of the day, we're family more than anything. So it really brought us together more. Helped me more with social anxiety as well. I have severe anxiety. And now I could be behind a camera and talk to millions of people on TV, and they help me get through that. But yeah, it's strange coming from professional gamer, taking that brand name to this, and meeting these people that actually helped the show. So the ones that are still here are the ones that actually benefit the show. The ones that aren't, there's a lot of good reasons they left, and it was for the best. And it's just a funny thing I never thought of, that they're all Marylanders now, right?
Yep.
So everyone that didn't work out is not
Maryland.
from here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now you've got the is it the fourth season that's coming up or fifth season?
It's the fourth season, and it's actually announcing that it's my final season of our Paranormal In The Funhouse, because we're going to do Paranormal Funhouse with a different name now.
We're revamping. We're going bigger.
So it's going to be like
we're not ending the show. We're just doing something, doing a little twist and turn here.
So it's going to be like side series and stuff from here, because I can't do what I'm doing anymore, the same thing and repeating myself doing it. Because when you watch Paranormal Funhouse seasons 1, 2, and 3, now you get this season 4. It's just new places, new stuff, maybe some new things, but it's not what I want anymore. I want something different for our show.
We're going more. We're gonna go more with the season 4, more of a scientific approach to things.
Yeah.
We're gonna do more experiments.
Basically,
instead
starting
of using
out,
all of like the equipment that you see us use throughout the seasons. We're gonna do more of like the scientific approach, using headphones. We're going to be doing the Estes method more. And if you've ever heard of that, the Estes method.
So Estes method is, some people like to call it the SB7 experiment, and it was more invented, I guess you could say. I'll just give them the credit. Kindred spirits. I mean, I'm friends with them. They're on Travel Channel. I appreciate what they do, but I won't say who invented it, but let's call it the Estes method anyways. That's what they use. But you use headphones, noise cancellation headphones, just nice pair of headphones, plug it into your spirit box, blindfold yourself, close off your senses. You can't hear anything but the spirit box. You can't see anything. It's dark. While you're placed alone, that person is going to be in another room, outside a building, another building while they're filming, wherever you're at, asking questions through a walkie where she can't hear from if she's doing it, or we're just asking the questions. After you look over the footage, we're going to hear the answers that she was getting, why her senses was closed off, and see if it makes sense to what we asked, which has happened a million times. Crazy. I don't know how to explain it.
I love that. That's
or
my
how,
favorite experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you do that in season 2, Stacy?
She did it in season 3, I think.
Season 3
and then,
is when we really started doing it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Oh, I love it. I'm like, yeah, lock me in here, blindfold me.
She's mainly doing Ash's method, and
do it.
She's mainly the one that does the Ash's
I love it.
method,
I love doing it. I love doing that stuff.
I had a pistol on myself.
No. Believe you me, there have been a few times where I'm questioning my stability here because I'm like,
I mean, because you're not just getting evidence through her as the antenna. There's stuff on the video camera that captures some weird stuff that you didn't know was by her.
That are walking past me in the video camera that I can't see because I'm blindfolded.
Yeah, and then you start, since your senses are closed off, you start feeling more, because you can't hear. You're hearing white noise. You can't see anything. Now you're feeling stuff.
100%.
Now your mind's also playing tricks on you, possibly, or are we really capturing?
That's what I like. I like doing those experiments only because those are for the skeptics too. Like to show a skeptic, hey, we're blind.
We try to figure out what psychos. So, like from the ending of season 3 to this new season, we try to figure out what's psychosomatic, what isn't. Is your mind playing tricks on you? Or is it your conscience? Are we creating it ourselves at some point? So that's what this whole new season 4 is about.
Yep.
Are these places that claim to be haunted? Nothing against them if it's not, but I'll go there and film, and I'll be like, all right, come out. It has history. It's not haunted. This is your mind playing tricks on you, which is called the Tulupa effect that Dave Schrader used to talk about.
Yes.
Basically, they believe that in some places you go to is not haunted, but claim to be, and they make so much money and profit off it because it's now you heard about it, like the Stephen King's movie at the One Hotel. That I believe a lot of people come out. It's called the Tulupa effect. Your conscience is creating what you're hearing about these stories. So you're thinking about it, you're creating it. Yep. That's a possibility in some cases, but not all. So I want to get more into that. I want to find out, push our bodies to the physical limits, man, see what we can handle and not handle, and what's really haunted and isn't.
Yeah, so we're gonna put Nate through that this year.
Ask Nate is, Nate and I we pick back and forth. I love him to death. He's done a lot of great things to help me out. He's a great person. Horrible fantasy football picker, but great.
Yeah, right.
But
you wish.
No, he always picks first 3 picks are kickers. I don't understand it.
Kickers.
I do not. First 3 picks are usually running backs and wide receivers.
But Nate, in all this, and you and I've talked about this, and I've known you've always been into the paranormal stuff, and you've enjoyed it since we've known each other. What are you hoping to gain out of this? I mean, because let's call this what it is. If you look at who's the husband and wife that they've made all the movies about,
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at what they did some pretty impressive things with paranormal, but it jacked their whole life up.
It did.
And it absolutely can.
Especially with Hollywood.
That energy can attach to you no matter what. So what are you trying to gain? I mean, because Nate, let's be honest. You've done very good for yourself. Your life's going in a good direction. Why are you looking to attach yourself to something like this?
It's definitely an interesting experience. I'd like to know what's on the other side. I like to be able to help people if possible.
Nate, side.
Like the first time, even I got sick my first time out. Right, Brandon?
Yeah, you definitely, especially being in a place for your first start. I always highly recommend beginners start off in a graveyard or cemetery. But he got almost a 40,000 square feet mansion for his first time. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna feel some stuff you never felt before, and that's why I say like that's what I do. Is it psychosomatic or is it a real thing? He got to experience
On
what we
top of
found
that,
out
I
the
found
real
out I
thing.
was related to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Yeah.
So I'm hopefully Nathan's looking to get out of this answers that he's always probably wanted, like I did, and like he said, help people. That's what I do. We'll help people cross. We've done that. We try or work with mediums to do so, or get answers for family if it's a private residence that maybe they can't get. We can help, but me, it's more or less to give you faith.
Free, it's gonna be good.
And it's not to push religion on people whatsoever,
Yeah,
but it's
no,
about
absolutely
like,
not.
yeah, I'm giving you faith that when you do pass, I could tell you that there is something and there's somewhere. And if there isn't, then I don't know how else to explain this to you, because what I'm capturing is showing me there is. So hopefully it gives you faith. There's people that passed away that were fans of us that always talked about before they died, like big fans of us before they died of cancer. Like they want me to try to get a hold of them. Or there was somebody maybe last year, I think is gone now. I don't know their names, but I remember them saying, I need you to be able to promise that you're going to talk to me. So we gave faith to them, knowing that they're about to die watching us, and they loved us to death. That we gave them faith, knowing that when they pass on now, they have a place to go. So that was settling and sad to hear that we have fans that are passing away. I can't do anything about it,
Right.
But I gave them where they're messaging me, telling me they want me to communicate with them. That shows me that I
When
did something that comfort them. It sounds weird, but yeah, I just hope that we can give answers to a lot of people. And so far, for the past 3 years and all these seasons, I've captured some phenomenal stuff, some stuff that's not even out yet that's going to show you, like our documentary when it comes out, it's going to show you probably a $1 million piece of evidence that I can't wait to show everybody that it's legit. And ours is all trial error. We're not some shows. I won't name some shows that are BS, fake, or I don't allow anybody to touch my evidence or tamper it. I produce and edit all my stuff. Yes, Paraflix, Patty Negri is executive producer, Natalie's CEO. So they run the network, but my show at the end of the day, nobody ever touches my evidence, tampers it. So what we're capturing is 100% legit. And trust me, I'll go and film. We just filmed the other night for 13 hours with no sleep, and we don't get a lot sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes we do.
Some places
So
we go to, we don't get.
And sometimes I can't. I couldn't release it in the past and never would, because I'd be afraid like to release it. Now it's kind of empty. But now I realize I'm going to start releasing everything, even if it's the history, because some places, like I said, that might not have it. At least I showed you how much work we put in here to try to prove to you that there's something there, but it doesn't always happen. And it's not always equipment based.
There's a lot to that. I mean, you're well, first off, listen, I'm going to make a left turn for a minute. I've watched your trailers. Watched those trailers. The production value of your trailers is amazing. Just your trailer.
Oh, I appreciate it. I go for this, since I'm from Maryland, the one thing I didn't mention, I was always using the Blair Witch. So my ghost hunting show, when I pictured it, I wanted to have that Blair Witch vibe to it, but be actual real evidence. That's the vibe I always try to go for. I don't know why. So I didn't want it to look like Travel Channel, but I wanted to look good, but also sometimes you're watching it, be like, man, I'm kind of running with them, I'm moving with them. This kind of raw evidence that I'm getting. That's a Blair Witch vibe to it, the VHS style.
Liz, Denise, Shay, Jason, that are still hanging with us, do me a favor, send me that direct message so I can get those DVDs out to you. You guys have been sending messages, interacting. Liz is out here sharing the daylights out of this.
I see all the comments too, guys. Appreciate you guys. So we're officially back. The ones that have been wondering, officially back on Facebook, officially back on TV. So it's good to see everybody here.
Send me your addresses in a direct message so I can out to you. I don't know if you've watched Yellowstone or not. Do what I would do. Wrap it up in as a gift, and then give it to somebody else who maybe they've watched, and then you've saved yourself some money, because I would. Yeah,
you're giving it out. They don't have to pay for anything, right? So
genius.
You guys want to get some free stuff. Message them.
Nate wants a copy. You should give a copy to Nate. And we're close to the end of closing the bar up here, and it's almost that time. But what are some, like, we've talked about some of the places you've been. We talked about going to Todd's Farm. You need to do that. That's in Edgemere. That was a big spot. If you start looking into a lot of these paranormal things in Maryland, we have so many battlegrounds. Like I said, I grew up in Dundalk. Germantown, or Old Battle Grove Road in Dundalk, was where the War of 1812. There's a field that we used to walk past. I'll never forget this, because if you know Dundalk, you know Drug City. Everybody knows Drug City. It's good snowballs, and you can go there, and it's a little neighborhood drugstore. Nobody goes to CVS or none of that in Dundalk. You go to Drug City, they got your.
Yeah, I had a friend named Anthony that grew up over there, so I was over there.
Yes, Walgreens. What are you, out of your mind? Gotta go get that shit. But
for a second.
Yeah. Right across the street from it is an empty field. My whole life, it was an empty field. It just was an overgrown field. I went back a couple years ago to see my mom, and we went there to Drug City to get snowballs. There's a sign in that field now that says Battleground, War of 1812, blah, blah, blah. This is where the Huns came through, and which is so perfect for Dundalk. Hey, look here.
Yeah.
The Huns
yeah.
The Huns came up through here. They had big beehive hairdos and everything. They were all, but it was one of these kind of places. For you, though, in all these investigations, we all have our bucket list. We had the guys from Unearthing the Paranormal on.
Unearthing Supernatural.
Supernatural.
No, them, yeah.
I'm mixing shows.
Yeah.
But those, shut up, Nate. We had those guys on, and they talked about and Nate probably what is it, Vulture or something?
Vulture City.
Vulture City.
They do a lot. Paraflix does a lot of their Paracons over there, actually, like Comic Cons, basically, but for the paranormal.
But do you have a spot where you're like, hey, on our bucket list, like there's the hotel out in California that?
Well,
I will tell you honestly, mine is not in Maryland. It's obviously outside of Maryland, but my ultimate goal is to go to Virginia City, Nevada, and investigate Virginia City, Nevada.
That's why Unearthing Supernatural's done their stuff.
I'm super excited. Like, I'm so excited. I would love to go there. Just to go there and just feel it out, because I've seen so much on it. Like, it's so interesting to me, and I'm so like intrigued by that place that I just I need to go.
It's kind of just desert.
It's just like desert town, western,
a lot of ghost
western
towns, mining,
it's amazing,
stuff like that.
I'm like, I want to go. I need to go. That's one place I will go.
If we ever do that, I can get Hero in on it.
Yeah, that's kind of where they've done it.
Yeah, well, you need a guy like that to fight off the bad juju.
Yeah, it's different type of energy there.
But you know what, though? You kind of bring up some. You guys are investigating. You're like you said, the new season after season 4. You're taking that scientific approach to all this, and again, my brain never works. Just so you guys know this.
Ours either. So we're in good company.
And we had a gentleman on who was involved in basically duping University of California back in the 70s, and telling them that he had all kinds of abilities and psychic abilities, and he was he deliberately did it this way as a con to show them that all this is bullshit. And it's a big thing, and they actually had the $1 Million Challenge. If you look into the $1 Million Challenge,
I know what that is. I know what that is, because I was in contact with them before. I was curious about that.
Well, all those, we've had them on before.
Yeah.
When you hear about things like this, and you see these, your approach is very scientific to be able to prove something.
Yeah.
Other side is those guys with like Hero. They take a very spiritual, I guess, for lack of better, homeopathic approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
Where do these lines cross, though, for you? Where you kind of say, it's both here. They're in both worlds.
Oh, they are. It really is. I mean, when you're talking that, like, you're combining both of those things together, honestly, 99% of the time, let's be honest. I mean, when we're in places that we know that have been known to be darker presence, darker spirits, We want to make sure that we're using the cleansing tools that we have, meaning like our crystals,
That's
our
all
different
you.
crystals, our salts, our, our different things for like where you would go, your sage, all
But
that good stuff.
my biggest thing is
Um,
too nowadays, and a lot of people you might in the paranormal field might not believe it works. Some do. Prayer, protection, prayer.
Yes,
There's nothing stronger than
absolutely.
prayer. Whatever your
Absolutely.
religion is, whatever your prayers may be.
We're not necessarily praying like, I mean, we're not putting,
Yeah,
like I said, again, no religious thing.
My favorite thing is I feel like protects me is the,
He feels better with the more of the prayers.
protection from the archangel, even though there's times in the paranormal field people have claimed they've been attacked by it, stuff like that. But I like using my prayers before and after. If I don't have the utensils to cleanse, if I don't have Elizabeth for a medium to cleanse, nobody can tell me that a prayer is not strong enough to stop something. So if you believe in something that much, it's gonna work. That's kind of that comes
absolutely.
in with faith. So prayer is the strongest tool.
Be good.
Nothing stronger than prayer. I mean, let's be
realistic.
And so you want to go out to Virginia City. Now that's you there, Stacy. How about you got a spot?
I mean, I would say the catacombs, right? What was it? The only one person ever got into it. He had to sneak in, Zach, right? But that's gonna be unrealistic, and I can't get into the catacombs
in Paris.
But
in Paris?
Yeah, in Paris. But it's gonna be from my home because it's gonna be from the state of Maryland. And now I always say it, Crownsville Mental Hospital. We almost got into it. That was always on my bucket list. We always were supposed to go after having a permit. They pretended we didn't exist. They want to keep secrets a secret. I even got in touch with the guy who did a documentary on Amazon in 2018 about the truth of the place, and it's dark. If you're from Maryland and you heard about Crownsville,
you don't know about Crownsville,
or if you haven't, you need to look into it. I really want that before they end up demolishing it or destroying it at some point. But it has to be the Crownsville Hospital or Glendale Hospital, one of the two main mental institutions that a lot of people know about in Maryland. It's so hard to get into. But now that I'm on TV, you would think it'd be easier. But no, when you're on TV, they're like, wow, we're going to get on TV and we're going to get money. But we're afraid to put this out in the world for you to expose the stuff and the truth and the past. That's how some of these people are. Okay. They don't want a certain image in some places, or they don't want you to tell the truth of what they did.
Because there's so many secrets being hidden.
But at the end of the day, some of these people that are holding these places or taking care of them still or keeping them up. That's not your fault. It's not you. You're just afraid to get a bad rep. Yeah, there was people before you. Some people want to learn this. You learn history. The young people that watch the show, watching it not for just the thrill of the paranormal, but they're learning stuff from it. So so like who knew that Crownsville they use as before it was even a mental institution. The people that are still alive that explained it was kind of like a place where slaves would go and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So I didn't know about that.
Absolutely.
So that was a place where slavery took place even before it became a crappy situation.
Oh yeah.
That was one thing I was like, dude, I didn't even know that. Didn't even mention it in the documentary. And then I don't know. They just want to hide those things, but it has to be one of those two mental institutions. If I can get into Glendale, which we're talking recently about, maybe Crownsville's not going to happen unless you sneak in. I'm not allowed to do that on Paraflix. So, unless one of you guys go inside for me and come back with some film, that'd be great.
How about you? As you're getting into
let's thank Scooby.
Where? Scooby Dooby.
Scooby, Kareem. Yeah, Kareem. He ain't allowed to go in either. Now he's on Paraflix film, but can't. Sadly, gotta have permission.
Want to get into, Nate?
I'm actually going to get to go down there this summer. I want to go to the Hatfield and McCoy's graveyard.
Oh,
I get to check that out.
Very cool.
So that would be one. I'll tell you one that I lived in that I think you should do. If you can ever get a chance to go investigate the Watervliet Arsenal in Watervliet, New York. It is the oldest active arsenal in the United States, built, and I know I've mentioned the War of 1812 a lot, I think because it gets forgotten often.
Yeah.
in this country, we talk about the Civil War, we talk about the Revolutionary War, and
Civil War is always brought up
Oh,
most of the
always.
time, especially in
Yeah.
the field.
we like jump over the War of 1812 like that didn't happen.
All the time.
Bitch, it happened.
It happened.
Not involved in that shit. But
I have relatives in that too, Brandon.
the Waterville
Yeah.
was up by me, and they actually used to have people come in and do investigations there every year. And I always just remember my old neighbor. She had a son. He was probably about 3 years old, somewhere around there. And she used to tell he used to tell his mother, "Mommy, the red-faced man wants me to let him in." And,
That's weird.
And she would look outside like, what the hell is he talking about? Their house was directly across the street from mine. Come to find out, the house she lived in used to be the hospital and morgue from the War of 1812.
Well, there you go.
Investigator told her, yeah, the red-faced man is because they would bring the wounded service members to the front, and
So it was like blood.
It was blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was somebody dead trying to get in. I get
And he
chills.
was a kid. That they're
Wow. He was
sensitive.
they're
Crazy,
very
so they
sensitive.
see things.
Children
Yeah.
and animals are the most sensitive when it comes to that.
A red-faced man. Now that's interesting.
interesting.
And then find out that, and then,
Yeah, the Waterville
then they're seeing wounded.
I have to check that. I have to look that up and check that out. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, the commanding officer's house on there is actually the second largest government run home behind the White House. Is how big it is. It's huge. I've been inside.
Wow.
You talked about quarters. You go down into the basement of that building, and there's all these J hooks that hang from the ceiling, because that's where the servants would live in the basement when it was cold, and their racks were on these big pieces of wood, and they would get up in the middle of the night and shovel coal into the furnaces for the to keep the house warm.
Oh wow.
It's a whole
Wonder if there's still like an
I wanna go check that out.
opportunity they would want to film for television.
I want to check that out for sure, even if not.
And by the way, to catch up with the comments, I've seen some stuff. Denise said her house. Yeah, that I will say, you guys start watching our show. I would start in season 2. It's one of my favorite seasons. We went back to my hometown, my dad's hometown, where my family's from, PA. Did family reunion called Lucy. That episode, I highly
If you're
recommend.
into dolls,
Yes.
that would be the episode for you to watch.
Season 2, family reunion, Lucy is one of my best, and that was nominated as well. So I always got nominated, never won anything, but for it to be nominated, special to me, and I feel like then that's probably the episode you should go watch first. Season 3 is more up to date with things. Season 1 is where it all started before we even got on TV. We were just making this stuff, and they were like, let's put this season on there. When we were the originals. We're the first or second show they ever put on there. So season 1 is kind of like the raw. And everybody that's here, looking forward to live streams. I'm bringing back live ghost hunts for free on Facebook, on the Paranormal In The Funhouse page. And then you could just Google our name up. You'll find all old or new upcoming things. So season 4, look for it. We got a bunch of stuff coming out. Basically, Garrett Jacobs Mansion's an episode to look forward to. We have our documentary movie that's been worked on for 2 years, House of Horror, from Laurel, Maryland. I'm sure you heard of Laurel before. So that's our documentary, our first movie. Then we have, with Robert Johnson House was a trailer that came out. Everybody was like, okay, so I've been waiting for this. So what we did is, that trailer now is still out, but we cut that episode and we're going to include it in another film we just did, the trilogy of the historic inns of Maryland, where it's the Calvert House, Robert Johnson, Maryland, and all together in season 4. So.
You definitely know the Calvert House. Well, look, folks, again, go subscribe. I know a lot of you already know who Staci and Brandon are. You're learning about Nate. You're learning about us. Make sure you're going and giving them likes, follows, subscribes. It might sound cliche. I say this every week. It might sound cliche to say these things, but those of us that are putting ourselves out in the social media like this and putting these things out to you, if you don't do that, no one knows who we are. We're just putting out in the ether. It matters to us. It's important to us. It's how you show your love to us, just the same way we show our love by showing up every week for you. So please give them those likes, follows, shares. Do those.
Yes, everything.
it makes a difference. Again, they were taught we have this. If you're into these things, or maybe you haven't watched it yet, Paraflix. It's just like Netflix, but for paranormal. It's Paraflix. It's $4.99 a month to subscribe to it. If you type into there, if they ask for where they ask for the promotional code, Funhouse 10, one word, Funhouse 10, you're going to get 10% off of that. You're going to get an opportunity to check these things out. There's a lot of our prior people on here, folks. Like I said, Brent, you've got Paranormal in the Funhouse. You've got Patrick Cutler and Redgate Film. You've got the the Unearthing guys are on there. Patty Negri's on there. There's a lot of all the people that you enjoy. They're all on there. They've been here on the show. Make sure you're going and checking those folks out. It matters to check them out and to see what they got going on. It makes a huge, huge difference. Also, if my show is you're finding it through these folks, which I really appreciate, all the great comments. Whoever it was that you said that had the dolls, I remember who it was. Was it Denise? Yeah, it was
Denise was the one that owned that Lucy doll and ended up selling it after it got on TV.
I'm with Jason. Keep that doll with you. I'm not after watching the original Poltergeist movie, the doll thing messed me up with the clown and the kid.
Yeah, I see. I originally didn't believe in that stuff until I witnessed it myself, and somebody else bought it. So,
yep, keep them where they're at. But make sure you give us a like, follow, shares, all those kind of things. They make a difference for us. They make things happen. Next week, as you all know, here at the bar, we always make a shift to something new. Next week, we are talking with a gentleman who wrote a book all about the bringing of the martial art of Aikido to the United States, how that happened after the Second World War. We're talking about that next week. So that's an opportunity. I still got this giveaway, folks. I'm looking here on my instant messenger. I have Denise. She's going to get a copy. I got 4 more copies. Send me a message on Nate. Nate, send me your fucking shit. I'll send you the damn copy. I'll make sure.
Anybody that there's going to be a lot of people watching this when I share this out, so I'll definitely let people know when I send this. Hey, the giveaway, what you're giving, so they can shoot you a message and they don't have to pay for anything. So
I got 4 more copies left. Denise got her copy. I got 4 more copies left of the 5th season of Yellowstone. We're gonna
I'll send you my info.
I know you will. I'm gonna make an announcement right now. I was gonna save this. I'm gonna make this announcement now. As we know, Nate and I pick on each other all the time. We send messages every day. We got a big announcement. Brandon, you get to be here for the big announcement. I was going to hold it for later.
Okay.
Starting August 5th. We don't know how regular these are going to be. We're going to try to make them as regular as we can. We're going to be starting the Above the Bar podcast presents After the Lights Go Out. This is going to be a new series on Saturdays dedicated to professional athletes, or maybe even Division I athletes. Maybe their sport doesn't have a professional side to it, and talking about what it was like after that sport had ended, after you have been the biggest dog on the block, after you've been the number one person, everybody knew your name when you showed up at the local Jimmy's Seafood and they had a table waiting for you. You're not on the team anymore. It's 3 years later. What's that world like for you?
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds very interesting. That's different.
And Nate doesn't know this. Nate, I actually will be booking a woman who lives in my local area who is a LPGA Hall of Famer.
Wow.
And lives in my local area. I met her today. Name's Kay. And I was like, Kay, I would love to have you on. She goes, absolutely. And she's a LPGA Hall of Famer.
That's awesome. When's that start?
August 5th. We're going to start that on August 5th. The first episode is going to be Jason. You got it. Jason, send it to me on Messenger the same way you did before. And now everybody's going to know where you live, Jason. They're going to
they're all going to be like, hey, guess what? I'm going to go visit that dude, Jason. We've had crazies show up in Maryland, find our address. So
you can go delete that. Send it directly to me. But that's going to start August 5th. The first one is Marquise Ogden, who played for the Ravens, brother.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan Ogden. And
he's going to be a host also.
Yeah, he's going to be one. And then pronounce her name.
Amira
Lewis, who is the wife of Jermaine Lewis from the Baltimore Ravens.
Jermaine.
Awesome.
So I said Jermaine. I didn't say Jamal. I said Jermaine.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. She's going to be coming on also, and she's going to give the angle from being the spouse of an athlete like that. Those are some of the other people we're going to have. Is I want to have the spouses of these folks who live that life, and now it's not there no more. What was that like for you?
It's very intriguing because I haven't came across anything like that, and a lot of people think about that.
Yeah, we've seen some of the 30 on 30s or where are they nows, but nobody really like, dude, I just want to know what it was like to go from, hey, today you're the talk of the town to tomorrow, unless somebody really knew you. And they're not all, not everybody can be Peyton Manning and still on TV and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Jason, you got to send that to me, brother, so I can get that to you. But
and they want to be a guest on the show too, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some NFL players on season 4 and get Paraflix rolling with some athletes on TV, man. So I always had like mediums and special guests, known ghost hunters, but never had an athlete. So that's interesting.
That's so great.
I'm gonna change that.
So now we're getting ready to close up the bar here, folks. Again, we do this every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch. I see Staci walked away. I don't know how far
she had to go. I guess one of the kids woke up, so she had to do that.
All right. So I know you've watched all 170 some episodes. This might be 180. I got to double check. I know you've watched all of them, Brandon. Just binged them and just craved all this energy from here. So Nate already knows this rule, and we'll let Nate go first, so maybe he can show you how this works. But the guest always gets the final word. So what is the final word you got for us, Nate?
Stay spooky.
I like it. What's your final word you got there, Brandon?
Just thank you to everyone that has our back again, man, in this upcoming new season. I know we've been gone, so I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.